Welcome to the Veronica Edwards Show, where we have fun financial conversations that everyone listening can apply to their personal and professional life. I'm your host, Veronica Edwards, CPA, and today we are back, Season 6, completely independent and sponsored by Balance Virtually LLC, my accounting and consulting business. At the start of every show, we want to thank the V team, as we have been on YouTube for a year here, Season 6 and Season 5, and we have some sponsors coming on Season 7. We thank you guys so much for being loyal listeners. Please like and subscribe to the page. We're really focusing on getting some more subscribers so we can provide more content next year to you guys. So head over to balancevirtually.com or veronicaedwards.buzzsprout.com. So today I am so excited. We've been having so many technical difficulties, microphone, sound, had to reschedule. So I'm super excited to have my cousin here today as we wrap up our family edition 3-part series celebrating our family, the 50th Palmer Smith family reunion, which is taking place July 23rd through July 26th in Summerville, South Carolina. So I thought it would be fitting to end the series with my cousin that represents the younger generation, who also has deep values with family and working very closely with our chairman, my Uncle Michael Fuller, who kicked off this series back in December 2025. We also had Madam Secretary, our cousin Cassandra Jameson. She was our second installment of this 3-part series back in May of 2026. And this show, which will be airing a week before the family reunion, I had to invite my very handsome and intelligent cousin, Mr. Elliott Holman. Elliot, welcome to the show, cousin.
Finally. Hey, Veronica. I'm really happy to be here with you today.
Thank you so much. So, Elliot, I would love for you to start off the show like we always do. Tell the audience who you are, a little bit more about your family, and what is your earliest Palmer Smith family reunion that you remember attending?
Yeah, so I am Elliott Holman. I am the son of Minnie Holman and the late Deacon Odell Holman. I am the grandson of Frank and Estelle Palmer and the great grandson of Josiah and Zadie Palmer. I was raised in Utahville, South Carolina, a little small town, which is the home of our family. That's really unique and important as I think of our family, right? Because I was able to be raised around a lot of elders, some of who are still with us today and some who have since transitioned. I hold a bachelor's degree in business administration from Winthrop University and also an MBA from the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. I am married to the love of my life, Jasmine, and I am the father to 3 beautiful children. We currently reside in Charlotte, North Carolina, but we still visit Utahville often. My daughters, they're my older 2 of the children. My daughters love Utahville, right? I think they have a little country in them, even though they were born in the city. But they love Utahville because, they have a huge amount of yards to just run freely. It's country living at its finest if you ever get to visit Utahville. As far as the earliest reunion that I was able to attend, I actually don't know the year of the earliest reunion I attended, right? Because it's always been a thing for us. I've
Yes.
always gone to the reunion. And if I had to think about when was my first reunion, I'm thinking it's probably somewhere in the 90s. I
Yeah.
can recall attending reunions local to Utahville, right? Like the ones at Santee State Park and staying at the Ramada Inn. If anybody remembers the Ramada Inn at Santee, like I remember that's where we stayed for the reunion, which was years ago. So I
Yes.
cannot remember the year. Um, I'll say it this way, right? I don't ever recall not attending a reunion. It's always been a function that my family, my grandmother's children, we've always gone and supported the reunion. In fact, I only ever remember missing one reunion, which was in July of 2010. That's the only one I've ever recalled
Wow.
missing.
So, Elliot, why did you miss that one?
So we missed that one. I don't know if you remember, but my cousin Carlos, he was in a really terrible car accident that year. Yep.
Yes.
And that car accident happened it happened in like June of 2010. And he was
Oh,
hospitalized for an extended amount of time. And that particular year, the family reunion, I think it was in Florida.
Okay.
And so we were talking like, okay, Carlos was like, he was in a coma for an extended period of
Oh
time,
my
and we were
gosh.
waiting for him to wake up. And Carlos and I, we grew up together, right? So Carlos was really close to me. So I'm like, I don't want to leave, right?
Right.
And so we were like, do we go to the reunion? It's July now. Like, do we go to the reunion? We had already paid our dues.
Of
Do we go to
course.
the reunion, or do we stay here? Because he was at MUSC in Charleston, and
Hmm.
we decided to stay in case he woke up. Right, we wanted to be there when he woke up, so we missed the reunion that year and stayed in South Carolina.
Well, it's a perfect reason why you missed the reunion because of family. That's
Yep,
what the family reunion is all about, getting to know each other, having that close relationship. So, and Carlos is doing well. If anybody's wondering, he
he's
survived
doing.
that accident
He did.
and I'm sure he is thriving. So wonderful. So, Elliot, I would love for you to share what your current role is with the Palmer Smith family reunion, your title, your responsibilities, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. So my current role is interesting. Because I'm not like a part of the officers of the family reunion, right? As you've stated earlier, I represent the next generation of the Palmer Smith family reunion, right? So I'm currently serving as a mentee. I'm serving in a mentee capacity to our current chairman, cousin Mike, and I'm working hand in hand and closely with him, understanding um, how to operate this reunion. Because I mean, it's fun to get together, but to truly understand how we all put it together is it's a lot of work.
It
It's a full
is.
time job if you ask me.
Elliot, I've been telling them, Madam Secretary, Cassandra needs a check. Mommy,
Yes,
financial secretary, your auntie Zadie, the treasurer. I mean, it shows how much they care.
it does, right? So when it comes to the responsibilities vary. Um, you know, I think my goal most recently for the past few years have been to plan the upcoming 50th reunion, which we're celebrating in just a week or so. But
Yes.
my responsibilities, like I say, have been to learn the inner workings of this reunion, right? Understanding the operating budget, negotiating contracts on behalf of the reunion, but also learning how to operate with our family at the forefront of everything that we do. Um,
Hmm.
our family members may only come for what would be a traditionally a 3-day event, but like I said, it is a lot of work on the back end to make this all come together. So
It is. It is.
it
So, Elliot, knowing how it's so much hard work and you're in Charlotte, you're not in South Carolina, but very close. Why is it so important for you to be involved with leadership and really understanding how everything works?
um so I think when it comes to leadership in the reunion, it's one of the things that you may not get to choose to do. It's sort of it's sort of voluntold.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right? But I think you're voluntold for good reasons, right? I think,
Hmm.
our family members are seeing who truly gets it, right? Who truly values the reunion, right? And who can see the reunion forward. So, um, this is something that I've seen with the transition. Like when I say you're volunteer, right? I've seen it with the transition of, from Uncle Ely to cousin Mike.
Yes,
Even when I listened to cousin Cassandra's podcast and how she
yes,
became Madam Secretary, like she was like just sat down like, hey, you're gonna just take these notes. She wasn't given
yes.
a choice, right? So you're told like what position you're going to be in, and like with me, even being in Charlotte, it was important for me to just kind of be grounded in family, right? Because that's where I came from. Like, being raised in
Yes.
Utahville is what I know. Yeah, I went off to college and explored, but family is who made me the person I am today. And I want to remain close to that. But I would say like when I really became involved with the reunion was probably during my college years. So I
Hmm.
started attending the planning meetings shortly after high school, when I was at Winthrop. And it was important for me to get involved because we were going through, I would say, a transition period.
Hmm.
Our leaders were aging
Hmm.
and focused on things that appeal to our elders. But we had a huge population of the next generation, right? Which I would say is my generation.
Yes.
And we were attending these reunions, and it was like, why are we here? You know, you all know each other. You guys kind of were raised together. You know each other, so it's good for you all to come back. But why are we here? Why is the next generation here? So I became involved in those leadership meetings by ensuring that the next generation had a voice in planning the
Mm.
reunion, right? That's really what kicked it off for me in getting involved with leadership. What I've learned the most about by working alongside previous and current family leaders is remembering why we have this reunion.
Yes.
You know, it's almost like a company. If you look at our reunion,
Mhm.
it's like a business, a
Absolutely.
huge organization. And I tell people that all the time that my family reunion has an org chart, and they're like, "What? What do you mean?" And I tell them,
Yes.
I'm like, "We have an org chart." I was like, "You have the executive board, and then we're broken down by states that we operate within," and they're just amazed at the sheer size of our family. And
Mhm.
Veronica, I'll tell you, even with all of that, you know, the size and the org charts, we're not a company, right? That's what we got to remember. Even though we may operate like a company, like our structure may be set up like a company, we're not a company. At the end of the day, we're family.
Yeah.
We're a loving family, and we have to remember that as the foundation of the Palmer Smith family reunion. Um,
Oh, I'm getting excited, Elliot. Yeah,
yeah,
amen to all of that. And me
yeah,
being a little older than you, but I want to be a part of this younger generation.
yeah,
We applaud you, Elliot, because it takes a lot. We all kind of joke like they meeting again. And Elliot, you always be on the meetings. And I can see where your influence has come in, where we're moving a little bit more digital and virtual with
yeah,
things. And I love that specifically under your family clan, you guys always do the shirts. And now we can just order directly to the website. Remember back in the day, it was a big deal.
it
All
was.
the shirts come to one person's house and you're trying to figure it all out. So little things like that, providing efficiencies, because of course, our elders are just going to do things the way they've always done it.
Yep,
And that's
exactly.
fine. But I'm appreciative that they're allowing young voices. And like you, I was voluntold too, like, hey, you need to do a 3-part series
Yeah,
and it was a good idea, but I never even thought about it. Or Veronica, you need to help out with this. And once you have children like you have now, Elliot, you really see like, I do want my family, my children to have the same experiences that I've
mhm.
had. So let's jump right into this reunion because it's coming up next week, the Palmer Smith 50th family reunion. What excites you the most, Elliot, about this historic 50th reunion?
Yeah. So, what excites me the most? Honestly, Veronica, the fact that we made it to 50 years is what's truly exciting for me.
Amen.
Because I have to share that I talk about our family reunion a lot to a lot of friends,
Me too.
and
Me too.
they're like, "You guys have a reunion every year, and like you see the same people over and over again. Like, how do you guys sustain that? Like, we can barely get two uncles together, right? And the fact that we can bring our family union together for for 50 years is truly monumental, right? So I'm really excited about that. Um, I talked about the transition of our family leader, transition of family elders. We've gone through a lot, right? Like Uncle Ely being one of the foundational founders, like of the
Yes.
reunion, and leading us through even through his transition. Transitions of the older generation. Sometimes when people pass away, right? Some people may lose sight of the family.
Hmm.
We had the COVID pandemic that we had to manage through, right?
Yes.
Um, I think through everything that we've encountered through prayer, we've been able to sustain this reunion,
Yes, we
which is
have.
truly a blessing, right? It is truly a blessing that
Yes.
we've been able to sustain this reunion. It's just something that you don't see often. I
You
don't hear
really
often
don't.
that people talk about their family reunion. So I think because of this monumental event, we really wanted to make this reunion something memorable for everybody, right? We wanted to make it a huge milestone because it is our golden anniversary of the Palmer Smith family reunion, and we're
Come
going to
on,
make sure that
Golden.
we're going to make sure that everybody know it. So, this reunion, we like I said, we typically do 3 days, but this will be
Hmm.
a 4-day reunion, right? You can say it's a conference. It's a
Yes. We're at the convention center, right?
We're
In
at the convention
Somerville.
center. Yeah, so it's gonna be we're coming back to our home state in South Carolina, right? We're not gonna be in Utahville because unfortunately, at the size of our reunion, Utahville doesn't have the facilities to kind of
Right.
accommodate us. But we're gonna be close to Utahville. We'll be in the Charleston area, and we're gonna be setting up tours to kind of tour like the history of South Carolina, kind of understand where we came from as a family. We're gonna tour Utahville because not everybody was raised in Utahville. Not everybody knows about First Baptist Church as the family
Right.
church. Everybody doesn't know about Palmer Hill. Like they
Come
don't know
on,
about
Palmer Hill. Yes.
right?
Talk that
People
talk.
think
Elliot, tell people a little bit. What's Palmer Hill?
Palmer Hill. So like I'm being a millennial on Instagram. Everybody's on Instagram like, oh well, we're doing family compounds. We're just buying some land, and I'm gonna have a house here. My brother's gonna have a house there, and they're making it like it's this new thing. And I'm like, this is not new. Sharitha's in real estate, right? And I
Right.
talked to Sharitha, and I'm like, Sharitha, this is not new.
Shout
We've
out to
been doing
Sharitha, one of my cousins I've always looked up to, a boss, a boss, a
yes,
boss, Sharitha.
yes. So I'm like, Palmer Hill is the family compound for the Palmers, right? Almost everybody has
Period.
a house on Palmer Hill. You can walk to, Uncle John's house, Uncle Sam's
Mm-hmm.
house, Uncle Joe's
Yeah.
house, right? Everybody has land down there, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when you come down to Palmer Hill, just know you're on family's land, and everybody's looking. So just
Right.
just
Play
keep
around
that
if you want to, right,
right,
Elliot?
right. So people need to see Palmer Hill, like where we all started from.
I
Um,
love that. So yeah,
yeah,
so there'll be a tour of that area. I think we're also going to have a cookout or cook in, because it's getting hot.
yeah.
We've talked about that too, the younger generation, because they'll go in order of when you can eat oldest to youngest. I'll be like, can I get to 70 yet?
I know. Yeah. So Friday, after the tours in Utahville, we will have it'll be a cookout, fish fry, kind of, paying homage to our old days. Like we will all get
Yes.
together in the yard and
At my grandma's house, Sister
at
B
your
house.
grandma's
Yeah.
house, right? Right. But we're gonna get together and have like fried fish, burgers, hot dogs. It's gonna be a great gathering
Yes.
in that area. So and then
And
Saturday, we're gonna kick it off with a gala, right? We're having everybody come out in their dress to impress, top
mhm.
notch, gowns, tux. Like we're gonna be celebrating. This is
I
this
think we're
is
gonna
a
have a live band. I'm sure there'll be
yes,
photography. It's gonna be
yes, professional
everyone
photography.
is professional because and even though your beautiful sister Sharitha, my
Yeah.
cousin also Angelica, we have a lot of photographers in the family,
Yep.
Angie, but we don't want to work if we don't have to, like. So I'm
Exactly.
glad that we spent a little extra money. There was extra in dues this year, so we can really make it big for this golden reunion. Is there any other? We don't want to give everything away. Is there anything else about this reunion, Elliot, if people are still on the fence because they still have time to pay their dues?
Yeah.
What else is exciting about this that you want to make sure that people don't miss that might be a little unique versus prior reunions?
You know what? I would say making this a 4-day event is what makes this unique, right? So,
Yes.
if you look at the dues that you have to pay, everybody has to pay the same amount of dues this year, right? Make the most of your money. Gas is high, groceries are high, right?
Yes.
You can pay these dues, and you won't have to buy food for the next 4 days when you're in South Carolina at this reunion. and, and
Exactly.
and you don't even have to drive because we will have transportation.
I was very impressed that for the tour, I was like, oh, we all got
Yep.
to drive 45 minutes or so from the hotel to Utahville. No, there is a chartered bus. So people don't have to worry. They can kick back and just enjoy all the festivities. So, Elliot, my very last question for you is when you think about the future of the Palmer Smith family reunion, what do you envision?
Oh, um, so Veronica, I'll say it's like the old folks always say, we are our ancestors' wildest dreams, right?
Yes.
Each generation that enters our family, it's important that we recognize the roles that our elders play in our lives. But I feel that it's also important that our elders are able to see the fruits of their labor, right? To see how
Yes.
we turn out as citizens of this world. And one thing that I think that people take for granted in life is time, right? People
Mm-hmm.
people don't realize how invaluable time is. Um,
Amen.
Especially when it comes to our family reunion, we get the time to embrace our family. For those who live far, for those who live near to us, it's a weekend just to celebrate us, right?
Mhm.
I'll tell a quick story if I have time.
Please, you have more than enough time. I love it.
So I can recall this is like almost 20 years ago. But we had a reunion in gosh, this is doing up when I was in high school. But there was a reunion in New Jersey. I think it was in 2008. I think we
Okay.
were in New Jersey that year, and they had we do a Saturday picnic typically, and at this particular reunion we have games to play, like you had to play partner games,
Hmm.
and you had a young person that was partnered with an elder.
Oh, I love
Yep.
that. We got to do that. We got to do that this year.
We got to do it, right? And so we had sack races, and you got the potato sack, and each person had to put one leg in that sack. And that year I chose Aunt Shirley, Uncle Ely's wife, Aunt Shirley.
Oh,
And
rest in
yep.
peace.
Rest in peace, Aunt Shirley. I chose Aunt Shirley as my race. Now, Veronica, I was like 16 years old. I'm very competitive. I don't like losing. I don't like losing now, right? And so I'm
I
like,
know
Aunt
you
Shirley,
wasn't dragging Aunt Shirley around.
I was trying to drag Aunt Shirley in that sack. Like, we're gonna win. We're gonna win this sack race, right? Um, Unfortunately, and Shirley and I did not win that sack race, right? You had a 60-year-old, and I think Aunt Shirley was either late 60s or maybe early 70s.
Yes.
Um, we didn't win that race, and I was so upset. I'm like, I cannot believe we didn't win that race, right? I was so upset with Aunt Shirley because I'm like, Aunt Shirley, keep moving, right? That was July of 2008, and September 2008, and Shirley passed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And my last memory of Aunt Shirley is that sack race, right? And I'm so glad that I was able to
Yes.
spend that time with her because you just never know when that time is going to expire. So
Yes.
I always encourage people come to the reunion because you just never know
You
when
never
will be
know.
your last time experiencing or even hugging that family member. So
Yes.
I tell my mom all the time, like, I remember Aunt Shirley because we lost that sack race in New Jersey.
And you can laugh about it. And that's
Yeah,
unfortunately when you're dealing with grief, Elliot,
yeah,
me and you both have lost our fathers. That's a
yeah.
hard, like, you can't even describe that type of pain. But so many memories, so
It
many
is.
good
Yeah,
memories. And I'm so glad that you shared that. And I really encourage anybody that is attending our reunion, find an older person to talk to. Talk to somebody that you haven't talked to before. Because I like the way you said that, Elliot. The future, yeah, it's for us. But
hmm,
it's good that we can show now the elders the fruit of their labors. And
yeah.
I am just so proud of you because you represent the young people so well. And I just want to personally thank you on behalf of all the family for your leadership and for your dedication because also Elliot's being very modest. He's a realtor. He's, a big wig. I'm not going to name the company, but you can Google Elliot. Elliot's doing his thing. And you've had a growing family. You have 3 children under the age of 8.
8. Yeah.
And you still have been very dedicated and took time to reschedule with me. So, Elliot, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to leave the family with before we sign off?
I think that is, I mean, I think we covered a lot, right? I would just say, for those that are listening, especially if you're in the Palmer Smith family reunion, if you're not involved, I would encourage you to get involved, right? It is really a good time, right? I know that it's another expense in the economy that we're in, right? It's another expense that you have to incur, but it's for a good reason, right? So understand why we do this. Um, and just even if you haven't been in 5, 10, 15 years, if you've never attended a reunion, now is the time to get involved. And for those who are not a part of the Palmer Smith family reunion, if you happen to have a similar background to us, I would encourage you to start a reunion of your own or get involved with your own reunions. That's it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ellie. And I do want to add, we do allow non-family members to attend $50 a day per person.
That
So
is
I have
true.
some friends coming. So it's open to all. We love everybody, but especially we love our family. So thank you so much, Elliot, as we prepare to celebrate our 50th Palmer Smith reunion in Summerville, South Carolina. I hope everyone listening takes time to connect, to celebrate, and honor the legacy of their family as we will as well. So again, Elliot, thank you for making the time. Thank you to the V team. Remember to head over to YouTube or to veronicaedwards.buzzsprout.com so you never miss an episode. And until next time, stay balanced and financially savvy.